All right, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Another episode of the Nosebleed section. I'm your host, as always. The off season is, in fact, my jam. Joined by the speaker of truth and the bringer of order. What's going on this Thursday night?
What is going on? What's going on? I'm actually not at work this time.
This guy's always at work nowadays. Oh man. Well, interesting show tonight. Interesting show to say the least.
Yes,
Guys, like
ruffle
before we
some
start,
feathers.
as always, before we start, uh, please check out the YouTube page. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Like, comment, support, subscribe, all those good things. Um, yeah, let's get into it though. Interesting topic. Like I said, the Daniel Jones contract came out. I was losing hair as I was in the gym at 3:58, waiting for something to go official. I was refreshing my Twitter feed like a freaking madman until I finally saw like breaking news official, and I almost screamed in the gym in front of like 15 high school kids because I'm a high school football coach. But I held it together. Um, and like I said, there was a lot of interesting backlash that happened after that. Do you? I guess I know you broke down the contract more than I did. So if you want to, talk about the contract and what all entails it, feel free.
All right, so yeah, just to give a little quick background as well. I was actually on my way to work. I had started at my job. I had to start at 4 o'clock. So at 3:57, when the deal got done or whatever, I'm sitting up here like kind of high from the cops and text you like, "Yo, it's done. It's done."
I was losing my mind in my mind. I couldn't let
Mhm.
it out because I was in front of people trying to be Coach Anderson.
Yep.
But like in my head, I was like, and then I just saw like franchise tag Saquon. I was trying to throw stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, like, oh. Anyway, continue.
Uh, but anyway, we finally agreed upon a contract with David Jones. It's 4 years, $160 million, with $35 million in incentives that can be earned on top of that. So the entire contract, if he hits all of the goals or whatever, could end up being 4 years, $195 million. Now, that also has $82 million guaranteed for whatever it's worth, because neither one of us know exactly what this means. $94 million virtually guaranteed at signing. I have no idea what that means. Whatever. It is what it is. That's outside of my wheelhouse. I don't know what
Pretty
virtual
much.
money
Yeah.
is.
Meta.
So we end up with an average of $40 million a year. However, as I explained, as many others have explained, that's not how it works. Do not look at average annual value when it comes to an NFL contract unless that contract is like Deshaun Watson's and is fully guaranteed, because that AAV means nothing. The only thing you are looking at is the guaranteed money and how the contract is broken down. So if you can find any outs or whatever, any possible spots that the team can renegotiate, that's what you're looking for. And that's exactly what has been done with this contract for Daniel Jones. And it works out for both sides. First couple of years is where all of his guaranteed money are. There's a bit in year three. But if I remember correctly, if this thing is broken down 100% the way that Spot Track had it,
Mm-hmm.
year four of this contract, I believe there's no guaranteed money in it. Meaning, if that year, chances are we aren't ever going to see, and neither is he. Because if he overperforms, after year two or year three, depending on when it is, that contract is getting renegotiated.
Of
If he
course.
underperforms, then we're going to cut bait, and there's going to be no financial ramifications for us, like completely negative ones. There may be a little bit of dead cap. Um, yeah, in 2026, the reason why it's driven up the way that it is, how it looks, that is $40 million a year, is because of the fact that in 2026, Daniel Jones' cap number is actually $56.5 million.
Sheesh.
However, his dead cap is only 9.
It's not
So
bad at
that's all
all.
we're really on the hook for.
It's not bad at all.
That's not bad at all. Which is why I'm sitting up here saying, calm your nerves, everybody. Common nerves. All right. Like I said, if you guys are on the train that you don't want Daniel Jones to be a quarterback, if you don't think that he is, the guy for the Giants going forward, then you may only have to tolerate him for another 2 years. And while you're tolerating him, hopefully for the ones that are sitting up there really hating him, he goes out there just wins a Super Bowl out of spite or two.
Yeah, because I mean, at that point, what can you really say?
Yeah.
At that point, like I said, we've shared a lot of interesting takes and reactions. And of course, after Daniel Jones got his contract with the Giants, also franchise tag Saquon Barkley. Last I heard, they offered him 12.5 during the season. He turned it down. People were still saying, but before free agency starts, they're talking to him and Dexter Lawrence. Last I read, rumors had it around a 3-year, 39 to 3-year, $40 million deal for Saquon. That's what I read the last time I checked. And
Mm.
Dexter, I haven't got any numbers on, but I know people were throwing around numbers in the 19 to 22 range per
Right.
year. So, yeah, and
Well,
then like I said,
you would think the AAV on Leonard Williams' contract, I believe, was 21 million. If I
uh,
remember that correctly, it was 3 years of 63. It was structured a really weird way, but it was 3 years of 63. So the average ended up being 21. So I would assume that 2 years down the line, that we'd probably be starting around 21 million and using that as a base.
yeah, like I said, it's like with both people that we're gonna have to lock up anyway. So something got to get done regardless because Dex doesn't need to go anywhere anyway. These are all cornerstone pieces. After that, you're gonna probably look into AT. You probably look into McKinney. People like that are gonna have to definitely have to stay around if you want this franchise to go to where it once was.
And the good thing. Now, funny enough, this is how weirded out this thing is because the Kenny Galladay thing isn't it's not done yet because we haven't cut him. We
right.
just
I'll
said
say to
that we were.
somebody. Right.
So he's still on the roster, which means his money is still on the contract, or it's still on
Mhm.
it's still on us for 2024.
Right.
Now, when I was looking earlier, the projected cap space for 2024, when I checked on there, or the projected NFL salary cap, is $256 million. The site that I was using to find all of the Giants numbers still have the projected cap as 235. That says that with our current roster setup, including Daniel Jones's new contract and Saquon being on the tag right now, our space with Kenny Galladay still under contract is $154 million. That is where we stand right now for 2024. Now, granted, all of that mess is going to change because people are going to start getting extended and we're going to be signing people for next year and everything like that.
Right.
But like I said, we have room to maneuver. So
Oh, more
looking
than
at some of these
maneuver.
things and
Shoot.
stuff, there's no need to panic or anything like that.
No. I mean, like I said, his deal really did. I guess you could say broke the internet, broke Twitter, and everything. I mean, it was all over. It was all over Twitter, and people had a lot of interesting takes about it, and we'll get into those. But the one I do want to talk about, the one that kind of does suck for me, being a Penn State guy, is Jaquan Brisker. I don't know if you saw what he was talking
I
about,
thought,
but it's just like I don't understand why you're opening your mouth. Like I don't get it. And I know he retweeted something that somebody else had said because somebody else talked about Lamar being an MVP, and Brisker took it upon himself to be like MVP. Meanwhile, the other guy that's trash got paid, and then Jaquan Brisker then proceeded to get dragged by the rest of Twitter because
uh-huh,
people have clips of everything, so they had nothing but clips of him getting blocked by Daniel Jones on Saquon Barkley's run, him
uh-huh.
getting blocked and sealed off on 2 of Daniel Jones touchdowns, him on the ground missing tackles. Um, Again, sucks because he's a Penn State guy, but when you're playing on one of the worst ranked defenses in the entire league, I don't really think you should be talking too much.
Not
Like
not only that, the Bears have the number one pick in the draft, and they have it for a reason.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, why are you opening your mouth? You have the worst. You have the first pick of the draft. I mean, it's great because you get to add premium talent, but it also says that you are the worst team in the league. So you played defense for the worst team in the league, and it was the worst defense in the league, which is one of the big reasons why you have that pick. So for you to be opening your mouth at somebody else because he got paid doesn't really make too much sense. You can call him trash
Hmm.
all you want. That's great, but clearly your team was trash. So I don't know why you were talking.
I've
And
I've
then
sort of adopted a phrase when it comes to stuff like this. Make sure your own ass is clean before you go try and wipe somebody else's.
yeah, like I just don't get it. Again, you had Darius Slayton, and again, like you said, like Darius Slayton, you're technically not on the team right now.
Yeah. The one thing about Slayton, and I'm honestly I am almost 100% behind this mess. Like I know you have your feelings about him. I'm almost 100% behind the fact. I think we just need to sign him to the social media squad because his Twitter game.
Yo, you're not the first person to say that either. Like, I saw that junk like 4 or 5 times. You were like, we need to resign Darius Slayton, literally just because of his Twitter.
Yo,
Like, like everybody's been saying that. Like, I would be okay with that. Bring him back as a Twitter media specialist. That'd be great. Like, I have my own opinions on Slayton, but like I said, we can go down the Giants free agents if you want to. I don't care, but
mm,
yeah, like I said, it was just like I didn't understand Jaquan Brisker. Like you can have your opinions on Daniel Jones. That's cool. That's fine. But again, if you're gonna do that, make sure you play for like the Chiefs or the Eagles, like somebody that beat us. Like, don't be on
mhm,
the worst team in the league talking shit. Like you are on the worst team in the league. I don't know. Like there are so many different interesting like opinions and takes and everything this week, and then we're gonna get to the main one, which was um I don't know. I don't want to be a shit starter, but I guess I kind of was a shit starter that day with the post I put up, and just in general, like a lot of people have been talking in a very racist connotation or very racist light about this whole Daniel Jones thing, and the main person they bring up is Lamar Jackson saying that it's and we could talk about Ryan Clark and everything. And again, I said it on social media too. I like some of Ryan Clark's takes. This one I didn't particularly care for,
mhm.
and I get everybody saying, "Oh, the white quarterback didn't do anything. He's below average QB. He get paid 160." And you're talking about a 26-year-old MVP in his prime. He can't get a contract. He can't get paid. He can't do this. Only in a white man's world. I'm like first off, like I'm gonna let you go. But my first thing was like, what did you want? And again, this is what a lot of people were saying. Like, what did you want the Giants to do? What would have made you happy? Because Joe Shane doesn't give a damn what you want. But what would you want the Giants to do? In a year where we finally have just had a positive record, we just went to the playoffs, and you want to sit here and say, "Oh, this is racist. You gave Daniel Jones this." So what do you want us to do? You want us to let Daniel Jones just walk because that's going to make you and Lamar Jackson and the rest of the NFL happy? Like, what did you want us to do? Did you want us to just offer him $20 million? What did you want us to do? I don't like that's something that gets me. Like, what did you want the Giants to do in that situation? The Giants are betting on Daniel Jones being their guy. That's why they gave him the contract. Do I agree he should have got $40 million a year? No. No, I don't. I'll be the first person to say I don't think he should have got that. I don't agree with it. But that's the cap. That's what the league is. People say, oh, they're bidding against themselves. And maybe we were. Maybe if he went out there, nobody else would give him anything relatively close to 40 mil. I don't know. I don't have that answer. We'll never see it now at this point. But to sit here, but Joe Shane, Brian Dable, and everybody else that talked about it, they figured that Daniel Jones is their best chance at moving forward and being their franchise piece. And they worked out a deal that's good for both of them. Daniel Jones gets 2 years to prove that he's the guy, and the Giants get 2 years to figure out if he's the guy. And if he's not, they can cut ties and be gone. And if he is, they'll hold on to him. It was a fair deal for both parties. So for people to sit here and be like, we live in a world where Daniel Jones, who's done nothing, can get paid like $160 million. but Lamar Jackson can't get paid anything. That's just racist. I'm like, come on though. Like, and you can have your take. Like, you can definitely have your take. BJ Savers, I see you say no, and I know you're gonna tag Baron, and I talked to Baron about this already too. I already talked to him about this, but I'm just like, I don't think Daniel should have got anywhere near the contract that he should have got. I just don't. But at the same time, I don't see why people aren't talking about. People aren't calling the Ravens out for being racist. They're not calling all these other teams out for being racist. The 4, 5, 6, 7 teams that came out when nobody asked, before any rumors came out, and vehemently and aggressively were just like, no, don't link us to Lamar Jackson. We're not talking to Lamar Jackson. We're not trading for him. We're not going after him. We're not going to offer him anything. Why is nobody talking about this being racist? Why is nobody talking about how the league is come out and just blackballing him? Why is nobody saying anything about that? That's what's getting me. Like, I saw maybe 1 or 2 people say like, "Yo, it's effed up. Lamar's getting blackballed," and and potentially, yeah, I could agree to that. But let's look at that. Let's look at that. I think the Ravens situation. I think what they're doing is like me and Benji were talking about off camera. Is that they're going to tag him like they did, and let other teams do the bidding, and let other people do the offering. And if they find something that's okay, this is reasonable, we could do this, we feel comfortable with this, then we're going to pay them. No, I didn't tune in Why Wednesday. I had to coach something, BJ. But yeah, you can have your take on it. Like I said, I didn't see the whole link between Lamar and Daniel, and I get some of the people's viewpoints and everything, but I'm more seeing like, why do we talk about the Saints going after Derek Carr? And why is that not racist? Why is Aaron Rodgers and the Jets and we're not going after Lamar Jackson? Why is that not racist? Why is it nobody's talking about the Ravens and the rest of the league blackballing Lamar Jackson? Why is it not racist? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't get it. BJ says nobody knows what Lamar numbers are because he does a lot on the field. Somebody got to start the numbers. I mean, I know before the season, the Ravens offered him what, 260, 290 mil, and it was like 133 guaranteed, something like that. I know he wants a fully guaranteed like $300 million deal somewhere around there. I do agree. He did a lot. He's done a lot. He's put his body on the line for his team, for a team that has inconsistent receivers, a different running back every week. He's put his body on the line. I'll give him that. So I do agree he needs to be paid. I completely do agree. So that's the part that gets me. Like, why is he not? Why is this not the racist part? But you have your take. I know you have taken notes on notes on notes. So the floor is yours. I want to know what you're gonna say here.
All right. First off, um, I think you have, for those who actually want to, and not necessarily want, but feel that it's necessary to make a racial issue out of this. I feel that you have more ground to stand on to call it collusion based on the owners trying to use Lamar as an example to the other players to say, listen, we're not going to sit up here and fall for this Cleveland Browns BS. That Deshaun Watson contract isn't like, this is not going to be the standard, and we're not going to allow this to become the standard. So we are going to make an example of this situation right here. I think you have more ground to stand on with that than you do with the idea that it is inherently a racial issue with just Lamar Jackson because
BJ.
of this, what I'm about to say.
Exactly, BJ. Exactly.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
I completely
The
agree
Browns
with you
screwed
because
up a lot
nobody,
of
because
shit up.
if you do that, and I'm going to touch on that. I'm going to touch on that, BJ. I'm going to touch on that. And somebody actually brought this up. If I remember correctly, it was Chris Canty, I think it was, on the radio. I don't quote me on that. I believe it was him. I don't remember. I listen to a lot of ESPN radio. I believe he said you would have a much better issue if he had one of the other quarterbacks in the exact same position that could do the same thing. If you had Burrow or Herbert this year, or better yet, Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts is more comparable to Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. Very comparable.
I know in certain ways. I'm not quite sure what it is, but
Yeah, I think it's the hair.
probably. Um, but if you have somebody else in that exact same position and they did it to them too, or like I said, if you wanted to really prove it, have it be Joe Burrow. Have them franchise Joe Burrow with him, or and him go out there and say, "Nah, fully guaranteed. This is how we're doing this," and see how it's played. If it
That's
is not played the same way, then you have a fight. You have an argument right then.
this is like that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for Hertz, Burrow, and Herbie to get paid.
Yeah.
That's what I want because the rumors I saw were Jalen Hurts' floor is 55 million. 55
Mm-hmm.
million to start. That's
Mm-hmm.
the lowest I heard that he wants. So for the Eagles team that's kind of blowing it up because they have like 20 plus free agents, $8 million in cap space, you can wiggle maneuver money around. But this man wants $55 million. Like, like I want to see what he gets paid and then see how that's comparable to Burrow and Herbie. Like,
To be completely fair and not to get off too far off topic, but if anybody can pull that off, Howie Roseman can, because he's been doing it and pissing me off for about 20 years.
yeah, I know. And that's what and BJ, you're right. Like Burrow went to the ship. He did. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's the one thing I will say about Lamar is like he's missed. I believe it's 9 to 10 games in the past 2 years. He had the MVP season in 2019, and I get that. He's 26. He's in, he's in his prime, possibly not even his prime. But in 2022, or the past 2 seasons, he's missed 5 to 6 games per season, 4 to 5 games per season, I believe actually it was. So you're talking about somebody who's missed 9 to 10 games per year. So again, like you want $300 million. I agree you deserve a contract, but $300 million fully guaranteed is a lot. Like,
That's the biggest issue, and like I'm gonna go in this just because of the fact that like I'm want to make sure we get this out, and I don't like I said, I don't want to hang up on this one topic for too long. I do want to actually get back to the Giants.
yeah,
Is just what I was going over with you before we started up. This is going to change when like I said, when Burrow and Mahomes, not Mahomes, when Burrow and Herbert and Hurts are
yeah,
up for contracts. And technically, if I remember correctly, they all can technically be extended right now, but I don't think they will be.
mhm.
You're probably going to see that right before they, before their option year kicks in. But the current in the NFL, 6 categories when it comes to top quarterback contracts. Total value of the contracts, 4 of the top 5 are black people. AAV, 4 of the top 5, black. AAV of the cap, which means the percentage of cap that they're taking up on each individual team that they're on. 4 out of the top 5 are black. Total guarantees, 3 out of the top 5 are black. Guaranteed at signing, 3 out of the top 5 are black. Base salary, 3 out of the top 5 are black. So what I'm trying to basically put out there is I don't want people to make a racial issue out of something that is not necessarily a racial issue. Can this be something that is racially motivated? Like, I don't want any more of these black people up here making all of this money. It's a possibility. The problem is you have evidence going in completely the opposite direction versus speculation. Do not take the power that you have to call out something that is potentially racist by calling out something that is completely innocuous. And that is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, like I said, with these next 3 quarterbacks that got to get paid. Like BJ saying, like Burrow, Hurts, and Herbert, like it's gonna be a very interesting dynamic in the league.
Under
And
the market.
yeah, I
Remember
know.
earlier when I brought up 2024?
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like if Daniel Jones pans out, that's that's gonna look cheap. Like if he pans out, it's gonna look $40 million a year is gonna look cheap if he pans out and is good
in
compared to some other people.
in 2024, like I was saying before, the projected cap right now is $256 million. I think it's Spot Track or Over the Cap. One of the two of them have it listed at 235.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, we're projecting a new TV deal and revenue coming in from all of these betting sites like FanDuel and DraftKings and StealYourMoney.com and all this other stuff that people be putting all of their money into trying to win and not succeeding.
Of course, of course.
This stuff is like it's gonna explode. So when you see these other quarterbacks come up for contracts and stuff like that, then you're gonna see all of the stuff coming out there as 55 and 60 and 65. And I'm waiting for Mahomes to get his next contract
Yo,
because, like
like
I said, just the way Daniel Jones's contract has those outs in it, so does Mahomes. Like they ain't gonna do it right this second. But when it comes down to the point where Mahomes is starting to feel like, you know what, my number is getting a little small compared to the rest of these guys. Let's renegotiate. And his guy dude goes out here and gets an average of $80 million a year as a quarterback.
yeah, but I mean, what can you really say though? Like I've
You
given you
can.
two championships.
You
I've given
already
you,
have people saying that Mahomes is like is Hall of Fame lock right now.
like I mean, at this point, he pretty much is. Like you've done more than half the Hall of Fame is probably in the Hall of Fame.
Like
Like
legitimately, like I said, I'm not trying to get too far off of it, but like you take a look at every other quarterback in the NFL right now, and you put Tom Brady in there as well. I can name you 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Mahomes is one of them. The other two
pretty
are Aaron
much,
Rodgers and Brady. That's it.
like pretty much as of current, yeah, that's it. Like I don't know. Like I said, this whole all the different takes and opinions and this whole week has just been like it's just been interesting ever since it came out, and then that's why I'm sitting here. People are like, "Oh well, they should just franchise Daniel Jones," and I'm like, again, if we would have franchised Daniel Jones, we only have 45 million in cap. I know you can talk to KT, you can talk to Cat and restructure. I know you could talk to Adore and try to extend. You do all these different things. I get it. But if you only have $45 million in cap space, you put this guy down for $32 million. It's taking $32 million off your cap immediately with
Yep.
11 draft picks and 16 other free agents to sign. Also, assured that Saquon is going to hit the market. So if we sat up here and we lost Saquon and he went to a team like the Bears or somebody that can give like, oh, here's $17 million. We're not going to pay that. So Daniel Jones' best weapon would have been out the door.
I mean, for what it's worth, they can still do that, but they'd have to give us some picks for
Right.
that.
Yeah, exactly. And at that point, I was thinking about this shit last night. I was like, yo, if the Bears came up and offered Saquon Barkley 18 million and I'm Joe Shane, I'm taking it.
I would
I'm
too.
taking their picks.
I would
Like,
too. I
I
love
love you.
Barkley, but I'm
Like
just like, yo,
Saquon,
give me the picks.
yeah, like Saquon, I love you with all my heart. But the Bears are giving me the first overall pick. It's two first round picks this draft and next draft.
Mm-hmm.
Out of nowhere, I have the first overall pick in the draft and the 26th pick. I have 12 picks and I have the first pick in the draft. And I don't need a quarterback because I'm probably gonna get Dan Jones back at some point.
And don't let
So
Houston do it either.
that's
Houston
what I'm
gives us the
saying.
two this year.
Like, that's what I'm saying. So if a team sits up here and they're just like, all right, well, the Giants have number one pick now because the Bears offered 17 million for Saquon. They said, take it, we'll take 2 first rounders. Now you're sitting up here at pick 1 and you don't need a quarterback, and teams are gonna come calling for quarterbacks. So all you do is drop back, get more pick. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yo. So I'm sitting here like, what did you want the Giants to do in this situation? Do you want to make you happy? You want us to let Daniel Jones go? Like, none of us are GMs, none of us are experts in analysis and scouts, and none of us are any of that. But I get your fandom, but at the same time, like, again, I've said it 3 or 4 times already. I don't think he was worth the 40 mil we paid him. I don't. But that's the cap right now. That's the NFL where it's trending. It's going up. And if he pans out, like we're all gonna hope and bank he is, if you're a real Giants fan and you're the GM Joe Shane and Dable and the rest of the team behind him, you're hoping he does good. And if he does good and he outplays the contract, you look like geniuses. If he plays bad and you move on from him in 2 years, you're still fine. And it's not and it's not hurting your cap situation.
Yep.
He can sit up here and completely shit the bed next year, and we can have the top 2 pick and go pull freaking Caleb Williams
Mm-hmm.
and have Caleb sit behind Daniel. Like, all right, Daniel, you got one more chance. You got one more year. You want to sit here? You want to mess around? We're going to throw Caleb in there. Caleb starts lighting it up. Daniel, you're out the door for 2 years.
Yep.
Scot free. Now we got Caleb Williams playing.
Yep.
Like on a rookie deal with Saquon locked up next to him for the next 2-3 seasons, with everybody else around him, with bookend tackles, with pieces set up, with a defense set up that you alluded to before we started. Like, so I'm like, that's my thing. Like, I don't want to hear a race card because the Giants handled business. The Giants did what they thought they needed to do. They believed in the guy, so they gave him a deal. It's not like you said it before. It's not like the Giants had the choice of being like, Daniel Jones for 50 mil or Lamar Jackson 50 mil. And we took Daniel Jones. We didn't. It's not like we had that choice.
Right. Because there was no way. There was no way. Because of what he already turned down, there was no way Lamar Jackson was going to take the deal that Daniel Jones took.
No.
So,
like
again,
rightfully so.
I'm not. If I'm Joe Shane, I'm not doing the Ravens' work for them either. I'm not going to sit up here and spend my time or waste my time negotiating with a guy who is just going to sit up here and end up back where he was before. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, literally, they said it. I think they said it earlier. Since the franchise tag has been implemented, it has been used one time, and it was 23 or 25 years ago that somebody actually signed somebody off of a franchise tag. It's not work. It's not going to happen. This is how these things go. Like, you had a situation where what's his face, Matt Castle was franchised, and somebody ended up getting him that didn't franchise him, but that was a trade. It was after the fact. This isn't what's going on right now. Like, the other time was, I believe, in 1998 where this franchise tag actually happened, but that was it. But anyway, like I said, looking at how this mess is actually going to shape up, for those of us who actually wanted Daniel Jones to be franchised or whatever, right? You wanted us to put him on for $32 million this year, $32.4 million, as opposed to the 19 that he's on there right now. Now, you can sit up here and you can get all freaked out about the fact that his cap number jumps up to $45 million next year. But once again, think about how the salary cap is going to operate next year. It is going to go up over $30 million. And we already have, like I said, with Kenny Golladay still on the books, $154 million in cap space. This is not a problem. Even, like I said, and as you were saying before, even if Daniel Jones is terrible, you have your out with him after 2, maybe 3 years. Because, like I said, I don't know the dead cap for 2025 if we were to release him, $18 million. I don't know. Does Joe Shane want to eat that? Maybe, maybe not. All right. In 2025, which is the year that everybody freaks out about, and I think BJ said earlier he should have gotten the same deal that Derek Carr got or Geno Smith got. His deal is very comparable to Derek Carr's as far as when it comes to the AAV, because of the fact that that $56 million cap number is never going to hit for 2025. That contract is not going to exist at that point. He's either going to get cut because he underperformed, or he's going to get extended and put into a position where he's actually equal to some of these other quarterbacks that are going to be coming up for contracts at that point. And that 56 number isn't going to be there. It's probably going to get backloaded again because Joe Shane is apparently a miracle worker with these contracts. So, like I said, nothing to worry about, people. It is what it is. You got him coming back. Let's say, like him or hate him, he's coming back. Second year in this offense, he has the potential to grow with a set of receivers that he may be, getting picked up this year because we have space to do so, because we have, draft capital to spend in, places or whatever to get him weapons. You got a guy like Daniel Bellinger, who's a growing receiving tight end in this league. You got, now granted, everybody's going to look at him, wow, he's talking about Lawrence Cager. Lawrence Cager in another year in this office may be a little bit better than you think he is. Right? Isaiah Hodgins, who spent, 6 weeks on the Giants, I think it was, before the end of the season. We picked this guy up in November or whatever. A year with him or whatever. And like I said, we can sit up there and start picking people up. The biggest one everybody keeps trying to talk about right now is Odell Beckham Jr. He's going to be holding his little workouts or whatever. I think it's on Friday, not this Friday or next Friday, out in Arizona.
I read it, but I missed it. I forgot. I just read it like a minute ago.
Yeah,
I was reading this Aaron Rodgers thing.
Yeah,
He's supposedly Aaron Rodgers is saying that he was interested in going to the Panthers, but the Panthers had no interest in him. So he says either back to the Packers, the Jets, or he's retiring. So
nice.
But as you were saying,
like I said, we got Odell getting ready to hold his thing. Like the free agency market when it comes to wide receivers, it's not great. It's not great at all. Like your best ones out there, probably, you're looking at Odell, you're looking at Darius Slayton, and you're looking at Robbie Anderson, as your biggest names out there. So the free agent market isn't really one that you want to, go to. But Homer and me saying, the Raiders want to give us, Devontae Adams for like a second round pick. We can throw him out there.
Right. Yeah, right. Jeez. Anyway, I mean,
but you have people that you can sit up here and you can put around him in order to succeed. We have the opportunity to build a competitive roster. We went out there with a scrap heap and got to the playoffs.
Legit scrap heap. Legit. I don't know. It's there's a lot of names though. There's a lot of things just like floating. I mean, of course, because everybody's from the Bills, so everybody's talking about like Jordan Poyer and Tremaine Edmonds are the main two that I keep seeing from the Bills. But I feel like they're both going to be high dollar people, if I'm being honest.
Who's what is the guy's name from Tennessee, the linebacker, the
David Long?
Yeah, he's one that has been linked with us, like not necessarily from us, but just from media personalities and things that think he would be a good fit.
Yeah, I've been seeing that a lot. I mean, the main thing that just sucks, the downside of being on Twitter, besides it's a very toxic place, is that like every person that gets released is like immediately like, oh, Giants should sign him. And it's just like, bro, like not like every person. I think what was it? The Vikings released Eric Kendricks, and like the first person was just like, as soon as it was breaking news, the first person behind Giants should sign him. I'm just like, dude, relax. The main one I've been seeing is Bobby Wagner. So a lot of people want Bobby Wagner. And
I mean, I'm not gonna sit up here and act like when I saw Frank Clark getting released, I was just like, oh, hey, but come on. You gotta be reasonable.
Super Bowl champion. Yeah, I mean that's not a bad move. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. And he would come cheaper than Bobby Wagner, in my opinion, at least. Like, I have to think so. I have to think Bobby Wagner is only want to go to contenders, and I have to think that he's gonna want 10, 11, 12 mil for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think you probably potentially could get Frank Clark for closer to 5 to 7, maybe 8. I would think. I don't know. Like that would be my thought on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, everybody's linking, and then now there's Zadarius Smith, the edge rusher from the Vikings. He's requested his release. And of course, the first thing is, well, he did play for the Ravens, Wink Martindale. Like
Hmm.
so, that's like the thing that everybody's just immediately linking everything to the Giants. It's just like I'm waiting to see what we do as far as our own people first before I start like trying to link every person together and the Giants side, every person on free agency because that's what a lot of these people want.
Hmm.
So I mean, there's still the fates of what we're going to do as far as like Julian Love, who I probably see. Unfortunately, I think he's going to walk,
I
but
think that to just butt in there real quick. Unfortunately, like I said, I was listening to something that Entertainer was doing last night when he was going over Joe Shane's press conference, and I personally did not want to read into this, but just because of the fact that he brought it up whenever the media asked Joe Shane about Julian Love, he never mentioned him by name. He always came out and said, "Well, we want to get all of our guys back and yada 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 and all of this other stuff." But when it comes to Daniel Jones, he was all in on him. When it comes to Saquon Barkley, there's been a little more iffy when it came to Saquon, but he's
hmm
come out and he said something about him, as far as his value to the team. Not mentioning one of your key players on your defense, one of your captains.
yeah, I don't. Like I said, unfortunately, I think he might be out. He said what? I think from what I read it was 5 to 7 mil. They were saying is per year should be his range. So somewhere in the I want to say like 4 year 4 year 20, 4 year 25 kind of range would be ideal for him, they were saying. But yeah, that's as of now, that's what I'm believing is gonna happen. I don't know for to be honest. Um I know they've been talking again. They want to get something done with Saquon and possibly even Dexter before free agency starts.
Mhm.
Um Other than that, I don't know too many other people. I know they've been in contact with Gates. I know they've been in contact with Feliciano, which I'm not the biggest on.
Neither
But
am I.
if it's more for like a depth thing, I kind of understand it. Um, and then who else? Other one. There's some. I was like one other person. They haven't. I haven't heard anything as far as like a Slayton or a Richie James. Haven't heard anything as far as that. So I don't know as far as our people, own people who we're all gonna bring back. I couldn't find like any rumors or anything. So and I know a lot they've been saying they've been talking a lot about the interior D line and a lot about upgrading the linebacker unit. So I think they're going to probably look by way of possibly signing one and drafting one. So
Mhm.
we'll see. I know they were talking about there was a rumor about uh, Tomlinson coming back. There was and
There's a
just like I
rumor
said,
about us being linked to Marcus Davenport too.
I didn't see that one.
Hmm.
I
I'll
mean,
send it to you in a little while.
I wouldn't mind that at all. It's an edge rusher. I wouldn't mind that at all. I don't know. Like I said, and then you got I don't know. Like I said, we have about 16 to 17 other free agents, I want to say. And other than a couple, I see pretty much most of them walking. I think between the money that we can get moving contracts around and the 11 potential draft picks that we're going to make, I think Shane's pretty confident in what we're doing.
Hmm.
I think that if I had to guess, that would probably be it. I know, and I know they're everything else they've been talking about as far as like again to talk about what you said as far as what's it called Julian Love. They were saying that Julian Love, I'm not saying him, but they were saying like the safety class is deep. So it was interesting, like you said, as far as the press conference, they would ask about certain people or ask about certain positions, and then instead of talking about that person, he kind of just spoke on the position itself. Instead of just be like, oh well, we're looking at the D tackle group, or look at the interior, we're looking at the interior line. You're like, well, what about this guy? Well, we're looking at that position, and it's like it's kind of telling.
Hmm.
So it sucks. It sucks, but I don't know. But I mean, shoot. this was short and sweet to the point. So I'm happy. If you're happy, we can stop here. Like I said, we're gonna probably do a free agency, uh either a pre-free agency or we'll wait until I know Jay wants to hop on and talk about like the Jets and everything. So we could probably do a little collab work there. Do so. Free agency's 6 days away.
I'm really just looking forward to Monday. I'm looking forward to
Legal,
Monday and Tuesday
legal
when
tampering.
that legal tampering period starts up.
Yeah, yeah. That's gonna be interesting. I hope we can get something with Saquon and hopefully something with Dexter Lawrence done before then. That would be
Mhm.
ideal. Get something done with both of those two and get them out the way. Do something with Cat, whether it's like I don't want to full on release him because I feel like it's gonna just open another hole. But
Yep.
ideally, I'd like to hold on to Cat, extend him, restructure him something, extend or restructure a Dory, just so we can get more money, and then, like I said, make whatever moves we got to make, and then even extending Lawrence helps lower the cap number and helps gives us more free agency, gives us more money as well. So,
Right.
and then I'm really sitting here wondering, like, is Shane really going to make 11 draft picks? Like,
Um. Honestly, I
that's
don't know.
also what's getting me.
I
Like,
don't know. I think because of the fact that we have like what 4 7th round picks or something like that, it's
something like
possible that
that.
he could package some of those and try and move up into some of the earlier day 3 rounds. But
Hmm.
like I don't know about trading up from 25 unless there's just somebody spectacular that just managed to fall to to a reachable position or something like
Right.
if Quentin Johnson is sitting down there around like 20, no, 20 or something like that, then I can see him being like, all right, yeah, let's jump up and grab this dude real
Yeah.
quick. So,
Yeah. I can see that. I don't see like I don't see him on our radar though. Like again, his conference was
yeah,
so telling to me.
he doesn't
Like,
fit the mold of what Shane said he wants.
mm-mm.
So Shane
That's
wants guys that can separate. Quentin Johnson is a 50-50 guy. So,
yeah. He doesn't want the tall, big body go up and 50-50 person. He wants speed and separation,
mhm,
which again to me, if you go receiver, it screams Jalen Hyatt, or it screams Zay Flowers.
mhm.
Maybe you get Addison, but I don't know if Addison gets separated because of his route running abilities, but I think if you're going to go receiver in the first round for the Giants, I think it's going to be Flowers or Hyatt, and five.
I'm,
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm going to be real with you. I don't think Addison gets past Pittsburgh.
I don't think so either.
I just because of the connection that he has with Kenny Pickett, I think that if they are, and they should be because they drafted the kid, if they are fully invested in him as their quarterback of the future, then they're gonna have his input when it comes to something like that. Like, hey, listen, we want to get you a weapon. You know, do you have somebody in mind for us to look at? And you say, hey, listen, I played with this guy for 2 years or whatever before I went to the NFL, and he transferred out to USC. So
Hmm.
why not? Like he knows the area, he's used to the environment out here, so it's not like it'd be that big of an adjustment. Like, why
Yeah,
not?
not at all.
I don't know how Brett would
Not,
feel about that, but
so we should speak it into existence. That's all we
yeah,
gotta do. We
I mean, I
always do
spoke Kenny
anyway.
Pickett into existence for them.
Oh my god, for real, for real. I don't know. Like it's the last mock I saw a mock like 3 hours ago, and it was like the who was it? I think it was I forget who it was. Was it USA Today or somebody? They mocked maybe it was
Appreciate you,
Savannah.
Savannah.
the last mock I saw, it mocked the Giants getting Dalton Kincaid first round. I was like,
I saw that.
did you?
I saw that.
That was interesting. It was very interesting. People are really high on getting a tight end early this year. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm not. I understand it. You could have somebody like you could have like this tight end group is one of the best in the past decade. You could
Mm.
get a tight end in the fourth round that could be a potential starting day one tight end. So I get it. Um, it's not what I would go for in the first round,
Me
but
neither.
like I mean, there's multiple analysts and experts have already talked about. There's 3 to 4. Savannah, this is my church right here. Saw that comment. Oh, Mess me up. Yeah. Supposedly there's supposed to be 3 to 4 first round tight ends. So that to me is just like that is I don't know. It's just crazy to see. That's why I'm you know how I get around draft time. Like I'm ready for the draft already. Like I love free agency, don't get me wrong. But the madness of the draft is just we always go for chaos. I need to see chaos.
Hmm.
I need to see it. Like you're talking about Dawson Kincaid, Michael Mayer. Oh man, like those two are probably first round locks.
Hmm.
And then you're talking if he didn't get hurt, Luke Musgrave probably would have went first round too. Like there's
Why isn't Washington like a fringe first rounder right now
he's a
too?
friend first rounder too. He might like Jay was putting him as tight end one. He put him over Michael Mayer after the combine.
Hmm.
That dude's like having another lineman on the field. He's 6'7", like 265, and runs like a 4.5 or 4.6 40. Like this 6'7". They were showing him on the blocking sled drill. He pushed a sled back like 20 yards.
Hey, listen,
Like,
I might start having to advocate, just out of my own
oh
old
my
school
god,
mentality
oh my
to pick
god.
up him and Dewan
Here you,
Jones.
Jawan Jones, all 6'8". Yeah, Savannah, shoot. What's up? What's your question that's non-draft related? We've had a very interesting podcast tonight, to say the least. Very interesting. I'm interested in what your question is. We don't get too many questions. Okay, go ahead. The Giants. That was cute. I'd like to know. I don't know. I'm just interested. What is this question?
I mean that name is actually a lot more respectful than some of the other stuff that we've been called over the years.
Oh my gosh! To the 3 people watching, you wouldn't think this small podcast gets heat, but we've been called some shit. We've been called some shit in this podcast.
Oh man.
Have about 30 comment or 30 views and about 100 comments. People just cursing us out. Jeez,
Nah,
I don't
man.
know.
I was like, while she's typing out the question or whatever, like just think, I'm still waiting. Did this dude ever come back? The Eagles
Ooh,
fan from before the Super Bowl.
oh nah, he doesn't dare show his face. There's not a chance. He probably blocked us. He probably blocked the page or something. He was not coming back. There was no way. After that guy went on that rant cursing us out for like a whole podcast, calling us idiots. The Eagles were a lock to win the Super Bowl. We're gonna hurt Patrick Mahomes in the first quarter of the game, and we're gonna put up like 40. All right, here we go. Okay, so let me put you on the let me put you on the stream. So, do y'all think that Daniel Jones was so way above what he deserved because the Giants wanted to put some pressure on the Eagles' Hurts deal?
No, I don't
I
think
don't
he would. I don't think Shane negotiates for anybody else.
I don't think it did. I don't think it did it to put pressure on it, but I think that it might have anyway because I feel like and we talked about it earlier in this event. I know you weren't in here before, but I think indirectly, I don't think Shane did that on purpose, obviously, but I do think it's going to weigh a factor because again, we were talking about like with Mahomes, all these people like when you said Hurts and Herbie and who was it and Burrow
But
are all sitting up here like, all right, well, I'm better than Daniel Jones and other people, and he's making $45 and $46 million, whatever. Like, I want 60, I want 70, and at that point, it's like, if you're their team, what are you going to do? So now, if you're Jalen Hurts and you're sitting up here like, okay, I just took you guys to a Super Bowl. I'm on the last year of my deal, rookie deal, with a third round pick. I'm making like $4 or $5 million. Yeah, I'll have some endorsements, blah blah, whatever. I'm the best quarterback in this division. You got this dude making this amount of money. I'll wait. Like at this point, just hand me the checkbook. Like, so I mean, did he do it purposely to be like you sit back on some like maniacal shit? Like, yeah, now sign him, Howie. Like, did he do it on purpose? Probably not. But I think it
nah,
really is going to apply pressure to it, though.
I think you're going to end up with it as a byproduct, being like, okay, it's a little more pressure. We're going to have to, give a little bit more money, but The fact is, like I said, just because we sat up there and we went over this part earlier or whatever, with how the cap is going to explode in those next couple of years, it doesn't matter what Daniel Jones just got. Every quarterback that's available is going to be getting more. That, to answer your question, what do you think Hurts gets? 55 to $60 million on
Yeah,
average. And granted,
yeah,
like I said, we were just going over this earlier when it came to Daniel Jones. That
yep,
160 million, the 195 million that everybody is sitting up here freaking out and losing their mind about, the way the contract is structured is not going to happen. They don't even look at that. Like I said, the last year of his contract is $56 million against the cap. But the problem, and not even the problem, is the fact that there's no dead cap. So if he's going to be there, like that contract is going to get ripped up.
yeah, pretty much. And it's like so. What I would say to your question, Savannah, is the same thing that he said. And I heard this before even the Super Bowl and everything. I heard this weeks before that. The floor of what Jalen Hurts is asking, potentially rumored. They're talking about the floor going forward because he just said the cap's going to go up and everything. The floor he said is $55 million, meaning the lowest I'm going to ask you is $55 million per season. That is the lowest he's asking. The Eagles have a lot of moving parts. Graham, I think there's a chance you bring back Graham. I do believe because he's a Philadelphia person, like he's been on the team his entire career. I think there's a chance. If you're talking about C.J. Gardner Johnson, I don't think he's coming back
I don't know about him. Like from what
because
I've been hearing, like he
they
went
already
he went like
posted they're not
scorched earth
franchise
on
tagging.
his social media and everything.
Yeah, he's Graham's a beast. I mean, he's a Brady killer. He's been a giant killer, and now I got Hassan Reddick who killed us by himself. Like
He's
you
been
guys
killing
got
us, guys. It doesn't matter
I
what
know.
uniform he's in.
Conrad is a monster. A monster. That was like I saw you guys draft. I saw the and Savannah. I'm talking to you too. Like I saw the Eagles sign like Linval Joseph, and I was like, that hurts. Ex Giant, but okay, D tackle. And Ndamukong Suh, okay. Yes, he was good, but he's like 80 years old now. Whatever. Like Bradbury hurt ex Giant, but when you saw Hassan Reddick, I was like, ah, shit. Like that was the one. I was just like, oh, that was the one because I know what he brings. He's from Temple and he was a monster at Temple. He's been lighting it up every chance he's got. And he came there and he just had a monster year. And I was just like, I gotta do this guy for the next 4 years in the division. Like, that's what really killed me. Like I said, I think you have a good chance of bringing Graham back because I think Graham is gonna like he's been there his whole career. So he might be able to go somewhere and get more money, but you kind of hope it's like, all right, but you have established so much here in Philly. Stay here, 1 2 year deal. You played 10 years, whatever. And then if you want to go somewhere maybe for a contender, oh, you're a contender anyway, but you want to go somewhere else, maybe if not, finish your career here. That's he might stay. But CJ's already posted stuff on social media talking about it was fun. I'm an Eagle forever, XYZ on the next adventure. They didn't franchise him or anything, so I think CJ Gardner Johnson is gone. Um, you can ask him, Savannah. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like you see the flag behind me, but we did our Super Bowl predictions. I thought you guys were gonna win too. The way you guys were just rolling through people, I was just like, this is just. I didn't think that Mahomes had the weapons to be able to win, but you know, um,
Don't
you're
worry,
good.
chances are we're not going to be off for much longer.
Yeah, I'm about to say, like, you've extended our podcast for us and gave us more to talk about, which we always appreciate. Like, if there's any questions or comments, always. If not, then you'll have a good night. But make sure you check the podcast out though and subscribe, comment, subscribe, do all that. You're a great, been a great guest, Savannah. Thank you. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, free agency. Sweet.
Free agency is going to be fun.
It is. Check out the YouTube channel, Savannah. Subscribe. Same name, Sports Market Analyst. Always pushing the page. Subscribe, like, comment, support, all that. Um, yeah, it's free agency is gonna be crazy. We'll be covering it. We definitely will. Always check us out night. We'll always be checking it out. We're always gonna be NFL Network. I'm going to be scrolling Twitter like a madman, all that. So, but I think that we're done for the night. I think we're out of
Yeah.
here. We can say we've squashed all these other whatever rumors and stuff like that. But guys, as always, like we just said, and I'll say it again. If you enjoyed the video, give us a like on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, like, comment, support, do all that, hit notifications so you know when we're going live. Check us out. We'll be doing a lot of coverage of free agency. We always go live for NFL drafts, all that. So until next time, this is the Nosebleed section. Have a good rest of your Thursday night. Hopefully, if you work Friday, it's a good Friday for you, and enjoy your weekend.
I do. I've been working 2 hours.
Jesus. Good night.